No matter whether you're rocking the old model or the new model of the 2DS or 3DS system, this video guide has got you covered. I'll teach you everything it takes step by step to use the Ace3DS X Cart to jailbreak your own 2DS or 3DS system in just a matter of minutes. Grab your handheld system and your computer because you're about to learn something new. This video is largely based on the written guide from the fine folks over at 3ds.hacks.guide. I've donated to the guide as I do each time I make a video based on their guide, and I hope you'll consider doing the same. No matter which model of 2DS or 3DS system you're using, you'll need to have it connected to your wireless internet network. You should charge your system all the way to 100%, or even better, go ahead and plug it into the AC adapter. In addition, no matter which model of system you're using, you'll need an SD or microSD card formatted in FAT32 format for your system. Since this video guide is based around using the Ace3DS X Cart to jailbreak your system, you'll need an Ace3DS X Cart. I have the NDS Card Shop link for you in the video description. This is the card specifically recommended by the 3DS Guide to jailbreak your 2DS or 3DS system. It took about 12 days in total shipping time to get this card to the States from Hong Kong. You'll get the Ace3DS X card, a microSD to USB adapter, and a small magnet. Let's test a couple of things before you get into the actual jailbreaking process. First, make sure the SD card you intend to use is inserted into your system. The process you're about to use to jailbreak your system utilizes the 2DS or 3DS system's sleep mode. For every model of 2DS or 3DS system except the original old model 2DS, you'll need to utilize that magnet that came with the Ace3DS kit to put your system into sleep mode. Press the power button to turn your system on. Once it comes up to the 2DS or 3DS system main menu, we can put this magnet process to the test. Take the magnet and place it near the A button on your system. You see, when you fold your system closed, there's a magnet in the top that touches a magnet in the bottom, and they activate the sleep process. You might find that you'll have to position the magnet closer to the X button or down closer towards the B button. In this case, I had to kind of put the magnet somewhere between the A button and the edge of the display. So that's why I wanted you to go through this process first. One, I wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with the process, and two, I wanted to make sure it would work on your system before proceeding. If you have the original old model of 2DS system, all you have to do here is just take the sleep switch at the bottom right corner and slide it from the left to the right. Once you're ready to wake the system back up, just slide the switch back over to the left. To access the files you need for this process, from the front page of the guide, navigate to the button that says Get Started and click on it. From the Get Started page, you can scroll down through the text here. There's a link at the bottom that also says Get Started. Click that link. This takes you to a selection page where you can choose whether you're using an old or new model of your system. For this guide, everything is related to the old system, even though this process works for both the old and the new system. Select the button for old, then from the drop-down choices, select the version of the firmware that matches your system. In this case, it should be version 11.17.50, and for the region code, I'm in the United States, so I'm going to select U from the list of drop-downs for United States. Once you've picked all of the appropriate drop-downs to match your version of your system software in your region, click Confirm. This will take you to the Installing Boot 9 Strap page, which is where you get the NTR process started. Scroll down on this page until you see the listing for what you need. There are 3 files to download here. Safe B9S Installer, it's a direct download from the guide. Boot 9 Strap is also a direct download. And the latest version of Luma 3DS. When you click here, this will take you to a GitHub page. This GitHub page has the latest release of Luma 3DS. Scroll down to Assets, locate the Luma 3DS.zip file, and click to download the latest version to your computer. Everything you just downloaded is in zip format and needs to be extracted. Go ahead and open up File Explorer on your computer and open the Downloads folder. Right-click each of the zip files one by one, select Extract All, and once each of the zip files is extracted, right-click on them and select Delete to delete the zip file out of your Downloads folder. We'll take a look at what's in each of these folders in just a moment. For now, I'll take the File Explorer window for downloads and drag and drop it over to the left side of the screen and snap it into place. If you haven't already, press the power button on your 2DS or 3DS system, then tap Power Off in the bottom touch display to turn off your system. Remove the SD card from your 2DS or 3DS and insert it into the SD card slot on your computer. Once the File Explorer window for your SD card appears, you can drag and drop that window over to the right side of the screen and snap it into place. You'll need to create a new folder right on the root of your SD card. Right-click, select New, then select Folder. Name this folder Boot 9 Strap, so that's BOOT, the number 9, STRAP. With this new folder in place, go to the File Explorer window for Downloads and double-click into the Boot 9 Strap folder. You'll find 2 files here. Drag and drop them directly into the Boot 9 Strap folder you just created on your SD card. Go back 1 level in Downloads, and you can now delete the Boot 9 Strap folder out of Downloads. And remember, things that you delete out of the Downloads folder are still archived in your recycle bin. Next up, navigate to the Luma 3DS folder and double-click into it. Grab both of the files inside the Luma 3DS folder and drag and drop them directly on the root of the SD card. Go back 1 level in Downloads to the root, and you can now delete the Luma 3DS folder out of your Downloads folder. By the way, if your spidey sense is tingling about that boot.perm file, don't worry, I've got you covered. Navigate to the SafeB9S installer folder and double-click into it. Scroll down through the listings here, and you'll find a file called SafeB9Sinstaller.firm. Grab that file and drag and drop it directly onto the root of the SD card. Navigate back to the root of your Downloads folder, and you can now delete the SafeB9Sinstaller folder out of your Downloads folder. Now that you've cleaned up your Downloads folder, there are 2 files on the root of your SD card that need to be temporarily renamed. I'm going to go ahead and close out the File Explorer window for Downloads and expand the File Explorer window for the SD card. The first of the 2 files that need to be renamed is boot.firm. You can rename this file to anything you want, really, but I'm just going to rename it Luma at the moment as a reminder that this is the Luma firmware file. With that file renamed, you can now rename the SafeB9Sinstaller.firm file to boot.firm. You're done with the computer for now. You can remove the SD card from your computer and put it back into your 2DS or 3DS system. I want to point out something to you about the Ace3DS X Cart before you use it for the first time. In order for your Ace3DS X Cart to work correctly, it needs to have a microSD card formatted in FAT32 inserted into it. The card can be completely blank just like this one is. In addition, this switch at the top corner of the card needs to be pushed in the up position. This puts the card in 3DS mode and allows it to use the NTR boot software that's pre-installed. Now that you have the SD card inserted, go ahead and put the Ace3DS X Cart into the game card slot on your system. With your system still powered off, go ahead and place the magnet into the appropriate location for your 2DS or 3DS system, or if you have the original 2DS model, you can just activate that sleep switch. With the magnet in place, press and hold the following buttons: Select, Start, and X. Continue to hold these 3 buttons and then press the power button and release it. But after you press power, continue to hold these buttons for about 3 to 5 seconds. If you've done all these steps correctly, in the top display, you'll see a message from SafeB9Sinstaller that all input files are verified. You'll be prompted to enter a series of D-pad presses along with the A button. Enter the D-pad presses and the A button as you see them on your screen, understanding that they might be different than the ones you see here in the video. Once the SafeB9Sinstaller process is complete, you'll be prompted to press the A button to continue. Press the A button, then press and hold the power button on your system until you see the power indicator light turn off. Press the power button again on your device to turn your system back on, but this time you'll boot directly into the Luma 3DS setup menu. There's actually no setup process required at this point. All you have to do here is press the start button on your device to boot into Luma 3DS for the first time. For now, go ahead and power off your system by pressing the power button, then in the bottom touch display, tap power off to finish turning off your system. It's amazing to think in just those few short steps you're already running custom firmware on your 2DS or 3DS system. Let's make it persistent so that it runs custom firmware every time you start up your system and install some key applications to help you on your journey. You're done with your Ace3DS X Cart at this point. You can eject it from the card slot and remove it from your system. Also, go ahead and remove the SD card from your device and put it into the SD card slot on your computer. When the File Explorer window for the SD card appears, I'll go ahead and maximize the window for now. Hey, do you remember we renamed the Luma boot file from boot.firm to luma.firm? First of all, go ahead and delete the existing boot.firm file. That's the one for the SafeB9Sinstaller. Now you can rename the luma.firm file back to boot.firm so that your system will boot Luma correctly. For now, I'll close the File Explorer window for the SD card to make room for the next download that you'll need. Once you've completed the NTR boot process on your device, the next page on the guide talks about a process called Finalizing Setup. This basically just involves downloading one single zip file. It's called finalizing.zip and it's a direct download from the 3DS Hacks Guide. Once you have the zip file downloaded, go ahead and open up the Downloads folder inside File Explorer. You'll need to uncompress the zip file, right-click, select Extract, extract the file, and delete the zip file out of the Downloads folder. Just like we did in the previous steps, I'm going to go ahead and drag this window to the left side of the screen and snap it into place. To make things easy, I'll remove the SD card from the reader and put it right back in to open the File Explorer window for the card. When the File Explorer window for the SD card appears, I'll take that window and drag and drop it to lock it into place on the right side of the screen. Go into the Finalizing folder in your Downloads folder. From here, you'll see several folders. Select everything that you see inside the Finalizing folder, then drag and drop it directly onto the root of the SD card. Be really careful not to put it into one of these subfolders. Drag and drop it outside of those folders directly onto the root of the SD card. Now you can go back to the File Explorer window on the left side of the screen, navigate all the way back to the root of the Downloads folder, and delete the Finalizing folder. At this point, you're done with your computer. You can close out any open instances of File Explorer in Windows. Remove the SD card from your computer and put it back into the SD card slot for your 2DS or 3DS. Press and hold the Select button on your device, then press the Power button while continuing to hold the Select button. If you've done everything correctly up to this point, you'll boot back into the Luma 3DS configuration menu. There's still nothing that needs to be done at the configuration menu. Just press Start on your device to boot Luma 3DS. This process is a safety check to make sure that the next steps in the guide will work successfully with your device. All you have to do here is press and hold the Power button, then tap Power Off in the bottom touch display to finish turning off your system. The next step in the guide calls for checking for the latest system software through the system update process. You should already be on the latest system software, but I never questioned the wisdom of the elders, so let's run the process. First, go ahead and turn your system back on. From the main menu of your device, navigate through the list of menu choices until you get to System Settings. You can either tap on it in the bottom touch display or select it with the A button. Everything here takes place in the bottom touch display. Tap Other Settings, then tap the right arrow several times until you get to the end of the list of choices. Tap System Update in the center of the screen. From here, it's like any other system update. Tap OK, tap I accept, tap OK again, then give your system a minute to check for system updates online. If you've done everything correctly up to this point, you should be notified that your system software is up to date. Tap on OK to return to the main menu. Next up, you'll need to launch what's called the 𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 menu to take care of some key settings. To do this from the main menu of your device, press and hold the left shoulder button, down on the D-pad, and then press the Select button. You'll see the 𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 menu appear in the bottom touch display. Here's a closer look at the 𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 main menu. There's a blue arrow on the left side of the menu choices. Use the D-pad to scroll it down to the listing for Miscellaneous and select it with the A button. The bottom listing in this submenu is called Dump DSP Firmware. This is what makes it possible for you to use sound with homebrew applications. Use the D-pad to move the blue highlight arrow down to Dump DSP Firmware and select it with the A button. This saves a backup of your DSP firmware directly onto your SD card. Press the B button to go back one level in the 𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 menu. Go up one listing in this submenu to Nullify User Time Offset. This is about making sure that the internal clock information is set correctly on your device. Press the A button for Nullified User Time Offset. You'll see a confirmation message on screen that says to reboot your device. We'll take care of that in just a moment. In the meantime, just press the B button 3 times. Once to go back to the 𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 main menu, and one more time to exit 𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐄 and go all the way back to your device's home menu. Now's the time to reboot your device. Press the power button on your 2DS or 3DS system, then tap Power Off in the bottom touch display. Hey, if you've ever wanted to be a deity, now is your chance. Press and hold the Start button on your 2DS or 3DS system, then press the Power button to launch God Mode 9. 2 quick notes here as you get started in God Mode 9. First, if you are asked to create an Essential Files backup, press the A button to do so. Also, if you're prompted to set the date and time on the real-time clock, press the A button to do so. In the menu in the bottom touchscreen display, press the Home button to access what's called the Action menu. From here, use the D-pad to scroll the highlight arrow down to the listing for scripts and select it with the A button. There's a script here called Finalize, select it with the A button. You might see an error message that there's no title database. If you need to create one, press the A button now to create the database. You'll be prompted to unlock what's called your sysnand. It's your system's internal flash storage. To do so, press the A button. You'll see a combination of D-pad presses and the A button that you'll need to enter to unlock your system NAND. To do so, follow the instructions on your own screen, and they may vary from the instructions you see on screen here. And each of the times I've run this Finalize process, I've found that it required this reset process for Finalize to work correctly. Let's go through this together. First, press the A button on your device to continue. It should take you back to the system main menu, but if not, power off your device and power it right back on to go to the menu. Launch the Settings application from the system main menu. From System Settings, tap on Data Management in the bottom touch display. Tap on the listing for Nintendo 3DS, then in the submenu that appears, tap on Software. Then in the bottom right corner, tap on Reset. Give your system a moment to get the hamster running in the wheel, and you'll see a confirmation message on screen. Tap the OK button to continue. With Software Reset, tap the Back button in the bottom touch display to go back in the menu. Now you can go back into God Mode 9 to continue the Finalize process. Press the power button on your device, then tap Power Off in the bottom touch display. Just like you did previously to launch God Mode 9, press and hold the Start button, then press the power button on your device. Just like you did the previous time, press the Home button to pull up the Action menu in God Mode 9. Use the D-pad to move the highlight arrow down to Scripts and select it with the A button. And just like before, select the Finalize script with the A button. From the Finalize menu, press the A button to continue to the install. Just like before, you'll be asked whether you want to unlock your SysNAND. You do, so select Yes with the A button. And just like before, enter the on-screen combination of D-pad presses and the A button. And remember, they may be different on your device's screen than what you see here in the video. Once you've entered the combination, several applications will be installed to your 3DS system, and your SysNAND, or your system's flash memory, will be backed up to your SD card. In real time, that process takes several minutes, but be patient and let it run its full process because it's super important to make a backup just in case you ever need it for the future. Once the install and backup processes are complete, you'll see a confirmation message on screen. When you return to your device's home menu, you'll see that the applications have been installed and they're represented in a series of presents in the top display. I love presents. Let's open your presents together. Scroll to the right and select each present with the A button to unlock them. The first one is called Anemone. It's a theme manager for your newly jailbroken 2DS or 3DS system. Checkpoint is an application that helps you manage your save games on your newly jailbroken device. The FBI application doesn't mean that the feds are coming to get you. It means that you're capable of installing native 3DS applications, which are in the form of .cia files. The FTPD application lets you connect to your device from your computer using FTP software. The Homebrew Launcher lets you install those previously mentioned .cia files to your 2DS or 3DS system. And finally, the Universal Updater app lets you install Homebrew applications by downloading them directly to your 2DS or 3DS system. With your presents unwrapped, go ahead and press the power button on your device, then tap the power off message in the bottom touch display to finish turning off your system. You've done too much work to perfect your 2DS or 3DS system not to back everything up on your SD card. Go ahead and create a new folder on your computer and name it whatever you want. In this case, I'm just going to name it 3DS Backup so that I'll remember what it is when I go to look for it again in the future if I ever need it. Remove your SD card from your 2DS or 3DS system and insert it back into the SD card reader for your computer. When the File Explorer window for the SD card appears, I'll take that window and then just drag and drop it over to the right side of the screen and snap it into place. From here, you can highlight everything that's on the SD card all at one time, then drag and drop it all into the folder that you created on your desktop for backing up your device's SD card. If anything ever happens to the content on your system's flash memory or your SysNAND, you'll be able to use the backup you created previously to help restore your system. Once you have this backup copied to your computer, make sure you save it in a safe place in case you ever need it down the road. With the backup of your backup complete, go ahead and remove the SD card from your computer and put it back into your device. It's great that you've jailbroken your system, but there's still one nagging problem left to solve. There's nothing fun to do with it yet. Let's fix that. Watch this video shown on screen and linked in the description and pinned comment to learn how to play your favorite retro games on your modded system with RetroArch. I'll see you there.